Hello and welcome to my very first Paint With Me video, where today we are making a special painting that's very close to my heart. I call it Stairway to Heaven. You will notice that this video did not start with me preparing the canvas, which is a fun fact, one of my least favorite things to do. That's because I did not prepare this canvas. This canvas was actually prepared by my Nana, who unfortunately left us in September of 2021. And these paintings, a lot of these paintings is me just kind of trying to carry on her legacy. You can see that right now I'm making a lot of clouds. I was kind of going for like a galaxy kind of look. I wasn't really expecting much with this background. One of the things I learned was that if you expect too much, is to expect disappointment. So now I'm starting to try and do another technique that I did learn from my Nana, and that is to blend on the canvas. Hopefully I do it right this time, because the first time I learned this, I did not pay attention at all to the technique. I'm not very good at paying attention. I tend to go off and do my own thing. And I promise it looks like I'm a toddler painting with mustard and ketchup, but trust the process. And this is about the moment where I realized that I put way too much red on the canvas, but we can always fix it in post. I go a lot of back and forth on this part of the process because blending is a never-ending process. I'm adding violet to the top of the painting. It might seem like an odd choice, but it kind of gives the red kind of a rusty look as it blends upwards into a night sky. It's kind of one of my favorite things to do to end a sunset piece. The idea behind this piece was that some people say that when an artist goes to heaven, God lets them do one last art piece in the sky in the form of a sunset. So that's kind of the thought process behind this painting. So it's actually, the full name of this piece is Stairway to Heaven, an Artist's Last Painting. It's not my last painting, but it is in tribute of an artist's last painting, and not just an artist in my family, but really any artist that touched the lives of those of you out there. I'm going back and forth a lot here because I have no idea what I'm doing, but that's okay. Sometimes the best pieces, you're just kind of going along with the flow. I'm trying to add some yellow back in post. I had to go back after it dried. Sometimes you just kind of got to step away from a piece for a little bit. I think now is a good time to mention that I don't plan on scripting any of these videos that I make. I just kind of talk whatever comes to my mind as I watch through a preview. And so if you guys want to hear anything, you can go ahead and just leave a comment on this video, or leave a comment on any of my social media asking me a question. And if I think that's a great question, I'll include it, or a story, and I'll include it in one of my Paint With Me videos. So now we're just going to kind of speed up the process here, because I think we've seen enough of me going back and forth and being really indecisive. And you know what? Sometimes being indecisive is okay. You know, it makes things a little bit more exciting when you don't know what the finished result's going to look like. And there we go. Now we're doing some clouds. In my concept art, I thought I would do some birds flying across the sky, but I think it was too much like a previous painting I made before, and I wanted to do something a little different. So I was trying to do clouds kind of climbing up into it. I've never painted clouds like this before, so there's a lot of back and forth here as well, which I kind of cut out of the video. I finally decided that if I added some metallic bronze to it, that kind of added a little bit of like heavenly effects into the painting. But eventually I figure out what I'm doing, and I start adding the stairways into the rest of the painting. And this was fun. I'm actually using one of my favorite techniques that I learned from my Nana, and that is to add a bit of paint, not too much to your brush. And I'm using a very big fat round brush. I don't really know the name of this brush in particular, but it kind of looks like a makeup applicator brush, not like a blush brush, but not quite as big. And it's one of my favorite brushes, though they tend to shed a little bit. So I actually, after this video, I went and got myself a new one. So rest in peace, favorite brush. But yeah, you add a little bit of paint to the brush, and then you just kind of dab it on, and it allows you to make kind of like a snowy cloud effect. I learned it to add snow to pine trees initially, and now I'm just kind of applying it to the clouds, which instead of dabbing it on like you normally do, I'm actually also adding a little bit of swirling to it to add some texture to the clouds rather than just like a powdery texture. To shade the clouds, I'm using a bit of blue and mixed with white to add a bit of shading. I've been recently trying to learn how to shade with multiple colors rather than just black. Mostly that's how I used to shade in my digital art pieces. But in my paintings, I'm learning to add different colors, and that kind of adds a different feel to the painting rather than just, oh, this is just a boring black shadow. So now I'm adding a door frame to my doorway to heaven, and I had to work a little hard on this piece because I accidentally took away the painter's tape a little too early, so the paint started to peel away, and so I had to use the paint to kind of glue the edges back down, which is fine. Sometimes we just kind of got to go with it. Not everything can be perfect. So now I try to figure out what shape a star should look like. It ended up kind of looking like a daisy, but that's okay. It's my star, and not every star can look the same. Otherwise, it would be a very boring place if everything looked the same. So here's the final project, and I hope you like it. Remember to like and subscribe if you want to see more.